Before the elections, I decided I was gonna cut off Facebook, and I did. But I missed looking at Icelandic horses and looking at pictures of Iceland, so all the friends I made.
Yeah.
Morning.
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 I know. I'm not gonna bug you, but I'm gonna bug you.
That's an awfully thick book, Mia, for a 3-candidate position.
It's all of them, all applications.
That's this afternoon's meeting, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, are the fire officials in here?
Yeah, under the orange tab.
Oh, okay.
We know who runs that show. Hi, Peter.
Good morning, everyone. I'm trying to sort my audio and video here.
Good morning.
I promise not to be a cat.
Oh,
There we
Oh,
go.
I love that. I love that video.
I'm gonna close my blinds.
Judge, I'm not a cat.
Yeah.
And the judge was so patient. I did not expect that.
Yeah, I know. That was funny.
We could all use some patience.
On mute for just a second.
Sure.
morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just want to let you know we're waiting for a couple more participants. So hold tight. And also I want to let everybody know that due to circumstances out of our control, we do not have the real-time captioning today and stream text. So we had an urgent email last night from the company and they will not be providing that service this morning. However, they will provide service this afternoon at 1:30 for the commission meeting. So apologies for that, but there's nothing we can do about that. We have a notice on our homepage that states that, and we also have a notice on the calendar page for this meeting that states that.
This is Commissioner Mickelton. Zoom actually has an automatic built-in captioning capability. I don't know if you're able to turn that on, but it's fairly new. I just turned it on this week for my meetings.
We'll try to see if we can get that to work. And if so, before we start the meeting, we'll mention that.
Commissioner Patel just texted me. He's trying to connect right now, so.
Oh, great.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
By the way, good morning, guys. Hi,
Good
Kim.
morning.
Good morning. And Ellie, if you could move your mic closer to you, if it's a little bit hard to hear you, and if we don't have captions, that might help. At least it would help me. Thank you.
That is not, okay, so I might call in instead. How's that? Let me leave for a second.
Hi, Raj.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
It's like chasing cat.
Hi, Raj.
Hey, Mike. Good morning.
Morning.
Raj.
We were waiting and you showed up and then Ellie had a mic issue, so she went off to try to get that fixed. She'll be back in a minute.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, sorry it took me a little while to get on this morning.
Oh, no problem.
So one of the, we had something out of our control, and this will affect your script a little bit, Raj, is we will not have real-time closed captioning because we had a late night email that they can't do this morning's meeting. They can do this afternoon's meeting.
Okay.
Commissioner Mickelton mentioned that there's a setting that we could set where it would automatically do closed captioning in Zoom. And I was speaking to Barbara with that. And the problem is we've already set up all the defaults that are within the system controls for this meeting. And so she's not able to modify that once the meeting has started. So we don't have that option. So apologies for that. It was kind of a last minute thing last night. So we weren't able to solve that problem.
Okay.
And Raj, while you were getting on, we have a notice on our website, the main page, and then we also have a notice on the calendar page for this meeting that states, due to circumstances out of our control, we do not have closed captioning stream text.
Got it. Okay.
We're ready? Okay. On our end, we're ready. Is Ellie able to hear us okay?
You know, we may have to give her a minute. I don't show a microphone for her.
It was there a minute ago and with the, line through it, but now it's gone, so I'm not sure what happened there.
Just letting you know, Ellie, we can't hear you or see you.
There she goes.
No, she's gone.
I think it was fine the other way, if she just, maybe moved the camera up and spoke
Yeah.
loudly.
Yeah, I could actually hear her okay, so.
Okay. I should be back in a minute.
Well, at least we have power. We're not like places like Texas, which have been had sustained power outages and now have rolling blackouts due to the
Exactly.
Yeah, and heat. We have heat.
conditions. Yes, we have heat.
That's the important part, I think. Power or no power. If you don't have heat, everything's bad.
Right, and I've heard they've had lots of water leakage issues because of pipes bursting and then leaking all over the place. So
Yeah, horrible.
Pretty scary.
Yeah.
Pretty scary.
Yeah, that photo. that
Okay,
you
there's
sent-
Ellie.
All right.
Yes.
So, Ellie, you want to say something again so we can see how it sounds?
I couldn't make it work to use the phone, like to show.
It sounds good.
Sounds really good now.
Yeah.
You
I can
sound
hear
good.
you loud and clear as well.
Okay.
Are we ready to
I
go?
think we're ready to go. I'll turn this over to Raj in a minute. I just want to, one more time, reiterate to the folks watching this that there is no real-time captioning this morning. We had a out of our control situation last night where we were contacted by the consultant, and they're unable to provide that service this morning. And so it's not available, and we will always work on a backup for next time. So now that we know this could happen, we'll figure something out for the next meeting. So,
Sorry.
oh,
That's all right, I just minimized.
okay. Hang on here a second. There, just click on there. There we go. Okay.
Sorry.
All right, good. So we're ready to go. Raj, I'll turn this over to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Mia. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Welcome and thank you all for attending today's California Building Standards Commission Code Adoption Subcommittee meeting. I'm Raj Patel, Chair of the Code Adoption Subcommittee. I'm calling this meeting to order. It is now 9:11 on February 18th, 2021. The Code Adoption Subcommittee will review, discuss, and make recommendations for the various positions on the 6 Code Advisory Committees. We'll also recommend a chair for each of the Code Advisory Committees. Mike, if you would you please call the roll?
Yes, hold on one second. Okay. Commissioner Patel,
Here.
Commissioner Sasaki,
Here,
Commissioner Santian,
I'm here.
Commissioner Mickelton,
Here.
and Commissioner Klausberger.
Here.
Okay, everyone's in attendance. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. And we do have a quorum for this meeting. This meeting is being conducted virtually in accordance with Governor Newsom's executive orders N2920 and N3320, as well as recommendations from the California Department of Public Health. Today's meeting can be viewed on the CBSC YouTube channel, link posted on the meeting agenda. I would like to remind the viewers there is a 45-second or so delay. I apologize, but due to circumstances out of our control, real-time closed captioning is not available for today's meeting. The stream text service will be available for today's commission meeting later at 1:30 and provides a larger closed captioning screen and can be customized by the user. The public may provide comments on each agenda item by calling in on the teleconference number provided on the meeting agenda. Instructions are provided on the back page of the agenda. If you have difficulty with the phone system, please call the CBSC office at 916-263-0916. I will now read the phone instructions. All callers will begin in listen-only mode. If you wish to make a comment on a specific agenda item, please listen for the commission chair to ask for any comments from the public. At that time, please place yourself into the queue by pressing the number 1 and then 0 on your keypad. When you press the number 1 and then 0, you will hear the following message. You will be notified when the speaker is ready for your question. To withdraw your question, press 1 and then 0. When it is your turn to comment, you will hear, please ask your question after the tone. A tone will then sound and the caller will be in talk mode. The chair will continue through the call queue until there are no questions remaining. The commission will then proceed to the next agenda item. Please note that please refrain from pressing 1 and 0 multiple times. Doing this will toggle your position in and out of the call queue. Press 1 and 0 only once, and then wait to hear for the notification to speak. If possible, please call from a landline using the telephone handset only. This enhances the commission's ability to hear your comments clearly. Calling from a speakerphone or a cell phone reduces the quality of the audio and makes it much harder for your comments to be heard clearly. We are meeting today to review applications and nominate fire officials for 3 code advisory committees. During the January 21st subcommittee meeting, candidates were nominated for all other positions on the 6 code advisory committees. Due to a shortage of qualified applicants, we were unable to make nominations for 3 fire official vacancies on the accessibility, plumbing, electrical, mechanical, and energy, and the green building code advisory committees. CBSC staff sent out a second call for these fire official positions, and today we will review and nominate a candidate for each position. At 1:30 today, the full commission will meet to discuss and appoint all code advisory committee members for the 2021 triennial code adoption. The agenda and public participation information for the 1:30 meeting is available on the CBSC calendar webpage. As we move through the agenda, this subcommittee will discuss 1 code advisory committee at a time and the fire official applicants for that committee. Before we make a motion, we will open the phone lines and take comments from the public. Then the subcommittee will take action. Are there any questions from my fellow subcommittee members before we start with item 2A, the Accessibility Committee? Seeing none, we will continue. So agenda item 2A is the Accessibility Code Advisory Committee. At this time, I would like to remind the public who are on the phone and wish to speak on item 2A, Accessibility Code Advisory Committee, to put yourself in the queue now by pressing 1 and then 0. This item is now open for subcommittee discussion. Individually, we'll give our recommendations for the position of fire official on the accessibility committee. I will go first, and then I'll call on each commissioner to share their recommendations, starting with Commissioner Klaus-Bruckner, then Commissioners Mikitin, Santillan, and Sasaki. So for position 9, which is the fire official on the accessibility committee, I would recommend Rebecca Leda. Commissioner Klaus-Bruckner, may I ask you for your recommendation?
So I tried to contact Chief Tomlin to find out, it's his second priority, but he is clearly the best qualified candidate, to see whether how interested he is in the accessibility and green building versus the plumbing, electrical, mechanical. He has signed up for all 3. So I had chosen Chief Tomlin for both plumbing and accessibility, but I haven't been able to reach him. So I think that encouraging other members to these newer members to these positions might be good. At the same time, I think Chief Tomlin's the best candidate for this position. I'm okay. I welcome other comments from other candidates, but since Chief Tomlin had signed up for all 3, it was a difficult, choice. But I still think he's the better candidate for this position.
So Ellie, so when it comes to the plumbing and mechanical, you're also going to recommend Mr. Tomlin?
Yes.
Okay. Got
So
it.
I just wasn't sure how to, I don't want to discourage these members from signing up for these positions, because we welcome new, fresh outlooks. At the same time, it was clearly, Chief Tomlin clearly had the background for these positions. So.
No, I think that's helpful, Ellie. And for me, I was trying to look at the 3 candidates and find out which one had sort of prioritized which committee. So I think that's the way I was going. But if your personal interactions and your knowledge of the candidates is always helpful. So thank you for that. Maybe we can go on to Commissioner Mikitin for recommendation.
Thank you. Yeah, I also felt like Jake Tomlin was the more experienced, and if I had slotted him for PEME as well, since that was his first. So if we put him on 2, that would be my preference. If not, I could go with Rebecca, but my first choice was Jake Tomlin.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Santillan.
Agree with the comments that have already been made by my fellow commissioners. And I think just for the sake of diversifying and making a larger group, I mean, here we are having a second call because we didn't have as many applicants. So I agree, again, with all the comments, but I will accept and concur with the recommendation of our chair with Rebecca, and definitely given Mr. Tomlin's preference for the PME, I would go with that. But for the first one, the fire official on the access, I agree with the recommendation of our chair.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Sasaki, what are your thoughts?
Well, I suppose it depends on who we're going to recommend for the green. I mean, it seems like, and somebody pipe in, but it seems like, given Jake Tomlin's very extensive experience, that it could be a recommendation that he takes both the access and the PEME spots. And then Rebecca Leda, who has the second most experience, would take the green. Rebecca listed green as her first choice. So I suppose that could be an option. Ellie, you're nodding your head, so you're.
That's how I had it, and I you know, honestly, I don't personally know any of these candidates. I was just going purely by the background information, what you see. I might have met Chief Tomlin. I was hoping I would catch him this morning and have a conversation with him to see if he just put the preferences in that order, or he, you know, there's a passion there for all three. But definitely, I had him in the same order as what Commissioner Sasaki just mentioned. I had him for plumbing, electrical, mechanical, and accessibility, and I had Rebecca Leda as the green building. But you know, I'm open to conversation. Honestly, that was just me taking a look at the candidates and seeing where they qualify. At the same time, I don't want to discourage other members, you know, of the fire code, fire service, and fire prevention to apply by not encouraging somebody like Carrie Bella to apply again, because, you know, we have a tough time filling these positions typically, so.
Yeah, Ellie, do you have any thoughts to whether Mr. Tomlin would be able to serve on both committees, or would that be taxing him? I just want to make sure that they have time to be able to.
That's why I put in a call into him. Maybe by this afternoon, we might get an answer. But by then, you know, this is.
So does the committee suggest that we nominate Jake Tomlin for both of those committees initially, and then Ellie will check and see whether on availability, or would you rather split it up and have one on each, one different candidate on each of the committees?
Go ahead, Peter.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Sasaki. I would be in favor of splitting it up. I think the comments that have been made, all candidates have the background. And I think, again, just the fact that we're having a second call, and totally agree with Commissioner Klaus-Buckner that we want to encourage future participation. Fortunately, we were able to secure additional applicants, and so I'm of the opinion we should split them up.
Thank you. Commissioner Sasaki?
So Commissioner Patel, were you thinking of, well, you opened it up by saying Rebecca Leda for access, then I assume you would go with Jake Tomlin for PEME, and then were you going to suggest Carrie Bala for green?
Yes.
Okay, splitting it up. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be amenable to that based on Commissioner Santillan's comments.
Okay. Is there any other discussion on this? Ellie, would you be okay if we suggested Rebecca and then Jake Tomlin and then Carrie and split it up among the three of them for now?
Yes, definitely. And if I get any feedback from Chief Tomlin by this afternoon, I will let you guys know. I wish I had had the forethought to call him a few days ago. It just occurred to me that I can actually make these calls, because usually we do not communicate with proponents. And so I have this I've been pre-programmed not to call anybody before a meeting, so I apologize for that, but I will hopefully reach Chief Tomlin and see what his feedback is on his choices, and by this afternoon.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Eric, what are you thinking?
I'm fine as well with splitting the three amongst the three committees, and we may hear from one of them and when we open the phone lines.
Excellent point. Okay. So for now, the consensus nomination for position 9, which is fire official on the accessibility committee, is Rebecca Leda. And now we'll go to the phones to hear from the public. So if you'd like to identify yourself, please clearly state your name and who you represent. Barbara, if you'd please check the phones for commenters on agenda item 2A.
Stacy, is
Thank
there
you.
anybody in the queue?
And at this time, nobody has a queue. Oh, pardon me, it'll be just a moment while we get the name. And we'll go to Bob Raymer. Please go ahead.
Thank you. This is Bob Raymer representing the California Building Industry Association. And we support the nomination, and we also support the concept of putting each of the other two on the remaining two. That way we can save time in terms of testimony. Anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Bob.
And at this time, nobody else has queued up.
Okay. Thank you, Barbara. So that concludes the public comment portion. I will now turn it back over to the Code Adoption Subcommittee and entertain a motion at this time to consider the subcommittee's fire official nomination for the Accessibility Commission. Committee, I'm sorry. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the motion.
Commissioner Santillan, second.
Thank you. So it's been moved and seconded that Rebecca Leda be recommended for position 9, fire official on the Access Committee. Is there any further discussion from the committee regarding this motion? Hearing none, we will now have a roll call vote. Commissioners in favor, please indicate by stating aye. Those opposed, please indicate by stating no. And if abstaining, please state this as well. Mike, if you'd please call the roll call vote.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Santian,
Aye.
Commissioner Sasaki,
Aye.
Commissioner Mickelton,
Aye.
Commissioner Klaus Bruckner.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. So moving on to the next agenda item 2B, which is the Plumbing, Electrical, Mechanical, Energy Code Advisory Committee. At this time, I'd like to remind the public who are on the phone and wish to speak on item 2B, the Plumbing, Electrical, Mechanical, Energy Code Advisory Committee, to put yourself in the queue now by pressing 1 and then 0. This item is now open for subcommittee discussion. Once again, we will individually give our recommendations for the position of fire official on the Plumbing, Electrical, Mechanical, and Energy Committee. For position 16, which is the fire official on the Plumbing, Electrical, Mechanical, Energy Committee, I recommend Jake Tomlin. Commissioner Klaus Bruckner, what sayest thou?
Agreed.
Thank you. Commissioner Santillan,
I agree with the recommendation.
Commissioner Mickelton,
Agreed.
Commissioner Sasaki.
Agree.
Thank you, commissioners. The consensus nomination for position 16, which is fire official on the Plumbing, Electrical, Mechanical, and Energy Committee, is Jake Tomlin. Now we will go to the phones to hear from the public. If you'd like to identify yourself, please clearly state your name and who you represent. Barbara, if you'd please check the phone for commenters on agenda item 2B.
Stacy, is there anyone in the queue?
Not at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that concludes the public comment portion. I'll now turn it back over to the Code Adoption Subcommittee and entertain a motion at this time to consider the subcommittee's fire official nomination for the Plumbing, Electrical, Mechanical, and Energy Committee. Do I have a motion?
Commissioner Santillan, motion to accept.
Commissioner Klaus Brickner, second.
Thank you. So it has been moved and seconded that Jake Tomlin be recommended for position 16, fire official on the Plumbing, Electrical, Mechanical, and Energy Committee. Is there any further discussion from the committee regarding this motion? Hearing none, we will now have a roll call vote. Commissioners in favor, please indicate by stating aye. Those opposed, please indicate by stating no. If abstaining, please state this. Mike, if you'd please call the roll call vote.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Santillan,
Aye.
Commissioner Sasaki,
Aye.
Commissioner Mixton. Muted.
Aye.
Thank you. And Commissioner Klaus Brickner.
Aye.
Thank you. Unanimous.
Thank you, Mike. So moving on to the next item, agenda item 2C, which is the Green Building Code Advisory Committee. At this time, I'd like to remind the public who are on the phone and wish to speak on item 2C, Green Code Advisory Committee, to put yourself in the queue now by pressing 1 and then 0. This item is now open for subcommittee discussion. Once again, I'll ask each commissioner for their recommendation for the fire official position on the Green Building Committee. For position 53, fire official on the Green Building Committee, I recommend Carrie Ibala. Commissioner Klaus Brickner, may I ask you for your recommendation?
I have no objections.
Thank you. Commissioner Mickelton, please.
I agree.
Thank you. Commissioner Santillan?
I agree with the recommendation as well.
Thank you. And Commissioner Sasaki?
Agree.
Thank you. Then the consensus recommendation for position 53, which is fire official on the Green Building Committee, is Carrie Ibala. Now we will go to the phones to hear from the public. If you would like to identify yourself, please clearly state your name and who you represent. Barbara, if you'd once again, please check the phone for commenters on agenda item 2C.
Stacy, is there anyone in the queue?
And there is, it'll be just a moment while we get their name.
Thank you.
And we'll go to Bob Raymer. Please go ahead.
Thank you. This is Bob Raymer with the California Building Industry Association, and we support all three of the candidates recommended for these three separate positions. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Anyone else in the queue?
Is there anyone else, Stacy?
Not at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the public comment portion. I'll now turn it back over to the Code Adoption Subcommittee and entertain a motion at this time to consider the subcommittee's fire official nomination for the Green Building Committee. Is there a motion?
Move to approve. Commissioner Sasaki.
Commissioner Mickelton, second.
Thank you. So it is now moved and seconded that Carrie Ibala be recommended for position 53, fire official on the Green Building Committee. Is there any further discussion from the committee regarding this motion? Hearing none, we will now have a roll call vote. Commissioners in favor, please indicate by stating aye. Those opposed, please indicate by stating no. If abstaining, please state this as well. Mike, if you'd please do the roll call vote.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Santian,
Aye.
Commissioner Sasaki,
Aye.
Commissioner Mikitin,
Aye.
and Commissioner Klausbrecher.
Hi.
Thank you. That's unanimous.
Thank you, Mike. So at this point, I'd like to thank BSC staff for successfully soliciting applicants for the fire official positions. I also wish to thank the subcommittee members for making the time to review each of the applications, and to the public for their input and assisting us in coming to a consensus on our Code Advisory Committee recommendations, which will then be presented to the commission at today's 1:30 meeting. Moving on to item 3 of the agenda. Agenda item 3 is comments from the public on issues that are not on this agenda. This time, I'd like to remind the public who are on the phone and wish to speak on item 3 to put yourself in the queue now by pressing 1 and then 0. I'm asking, does any member of the public have comments for this subcommittee on items that are not on this agenda? Barbara, if you'd please check the phones.
Stacy, is there anyone in the queue?
Not at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you. That closes agenda item 3. Moving on to the next agenda item, which is agenda item 4. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second, Commissioner Santillan.
Thank you, commissioners. It is moved and seconded that we adjourn. So thank you all, and I will see everyone at the 1:30 commission meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Roger.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. See you in a while.
Okay.
Thank you.
A record-setting meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Stacy. We're gonna end this call now.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. We need to. Anything else? Saying garage.
We can leave.
Nope, we're good.
Okay. See you later.